Oh my gosh, you guys, it is so cold where I'm at right now. It snowed last night and it is like 9 degrees currently here in the Midwest, and I am just frozen solid. It sucks. The wind is really making it worse, and I just don't want to leave the house. But of course, I have to run errands today, so I'm gonna go freeze my ass off. So, yep. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Shania, and today I thought that I would do the end of the year book tag because 2019 is like basically done, and I can't believe that. Like, where did this year go? There are so many books that I planned on reading this year that I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get to them at this point, especially with my classes. I don't know if I'll be able to read as much because I got finals coming up in a couple weeks, and it's just going to be crazy, but I hope I can hit as many books as I am able to in the month of December when I'm on winter break. So this tag was originally created by Erin here on YouTube, and I will link her channel down below as well as her most recent video regarding this tag. But I really wanted to do it just because I feel like it's going to push me to read the books that I haven't read yet and kind of get me more hyped about reading them. I mean, of course I am excited to read them, but I feel like this will be like a goal for me, being like, okay, you're talking about it, so now you should probably read them. But a lot of the books that are in this video I already planned on reading, but I think it's gonna really make me read them some more. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. So the very first question is, are there any books that you started this year that you still need to finish? And I don't actually have that many books that I started and didn't finish, but there are a few that I DNF'd, but I do plan on getting back and reading them again. So one of the first books that I started this year but I haven't finished yet is Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered by Kilgariff and Hardstark. I don't know why I haven't finished this yet. I think I only have like 50 pages left, and I just haven't finished it, and it's just laying around, and I have no reason. I have no reason for not finishing this book, other than the fact that it is kind of a self-help book, and so it wasn't something that I felt like I was going to be really wanting to finish. It wasn't like a fantasy book or anything like that. So I kind of put it off for a while, and I don't even know where my copy is. Like, it's somewhere around here, but I don't know where it's at right now. I think I just like put it somewhere and I leave it because I plan on reading it, and then I don't know where it's at. But anyways, it is by the two women that do the podcast My Favorite Murder, and it is a very, very popular podcast. I love it. I'm a huge fan of it, but I just haven't finished their book yet, which I feel bad about. Like, I'm a murderino, and I haven't finished it yet, so I don't really know what my problem is in regards to that. But like I said, it is a self-help book. It has nothing really to do with their podcast and talking about murder or anything. It's really just talking about Georgia and Karen's life and the things that they've learned along the way and the advice that they would give you, especially like going to therapy and whatnot. So I think if you're really looking for a nice self-help book, you should definitely check that one out. I know that on Goodreads, they just recently released the nominations for the best books of 2019, and I'm pretty positive that Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered is on there. So if you guys are like me and want to tackle a lot of books that are on those nominations, then you guys should definitely check that one out. I haven't finished it, but what I have read so far is really, really good. I just have, like I said, just 50 pages left, but I love it, and honestly, I just need to finish it. I don't know why I haven't finished it yet, but that's the very first one that comes to mind. Otherwise, there's not very many other books that I started this year that I haven't finished. I mean, there are some DNFs in there, but other than that, the first one that came to mind was Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered. So I will be planning on reading that and finishing it before December 31st, for sure. Alright, so the second question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition you into the end of the year? Now, I don't really have any that's specific to this time of year. I had a lot of books that I mentioned in my recent book haul or my November TBR that are kind of transitional, but most of them were actually like horror books that I should have read in October, but I didn't because time got away from me and I was too busy with daily life, and for some reason work and school get in the way of me reading, which is just ridiculous. I mean, why does it do that in the first place? It's dumb. I should always have time to read. But anyways, tangent aside, I don't really have any books that are going to be a great transition to like Christmas time. But one that I do plan on reading, because I'm in a kind of a book club in regards to reading this, is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I can't believe I haven't read this yet. I think it's ridiculous that I have it, but I have not read it. And I know it is amazing. And I know that this book is incredible. People have raved about this nonstop. But I just haven't gotten around to it. And I know it's just ridiculous that I haven't got to it yet, but I do want to read it this year. And I know it deals with the circus, and there is romance in here. And if you guys haven't heard of it, you guys should probably pick it up. I know my opinion can't be much just because I haven't read it yet, but I really want to. I'm so excited, and I think that this will be a really great transition to the end of the year because it deals with magic and spells and romance and the circus, and though those things are usually in the summer, I think it just reminds me of Harry Potter in that way with the magic and whatnot, and I generally will read Harry Potter in the winter time to get into the Christmas season because Christmas at Hogwarts is just incredible, and so it reminds me of that, and I think that that is why this is the book that I want to read going into the end of the year. And I need to read it soon because everybody else that is reading it within my little book club is like way further, and I haven't even started it because I'm too busy finishing other books and balancing school, like I said. So I plan on reading this one very, very soon. Okay, so the third question is, are there any books that are new releases that you're still anticipating? And yes, there is a book specifically that I am so excited for, and it hasn't come out yet because it doesn't come out till next week, November, I think it's November 19th. I don't remember the exact date, but it is The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black, and it is the third and final book in the Heir of the Folk series by Holly Black, of course, and I cannot wait. I finished The Wicked King probably, when was that? Back in like April, I think, maybe May. And right away I was like, oh my gosh, I have to wait till 2020 to read this book. But then Holly Black pushed back, or pushed up, depending on how you see it, the publishing date or the release of it. And so now it's coming out in November, and we are so close, and I'm so excited. I'm excited to see where Jude and Cardan go in this next story. If you guys haven't heard of the Heir of the Folk series, or like the Cruel Prince series, which is the first book, it deals with the Fae. It's a fantasy book, and I mean, Holly Black is amazing at world building in regards to that, and I know a lot of people don't like the first one as much just because there is a lot of world building, but it needs to happen. But the second book is so, so good, and I loved it, and it ended with such a cliffhanger, and I had to wait. And I know a lot of other people had to wait longer than I did, but I just cannot wait for this book, and these next 2 weeks are going to they're going to be so long. But then, like, I mentioned Night Circus, and, like, I want to read that one, but then the Queen of Nothing comes out, and I want to read that one, so how am I going to balance all these damn books? Like, this is ridiculous. There's so many, but I do plan on reading that one as soon as I can from the release date. It's going to be so good, and yeah, if you guys are excited for that one too, please let me know down below, because I just want to bask in the excitement with someone else as well. So if you guys are excited for it, let me know down below. Oh my god, you guys, I found my copy of Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered. It was literally right here the whole time. It's just, I didn't see it, and but I found it, and I think it's because I don't keep the sleeve on it anymore. I think it's prettier without the sleeve, so I just keep that off. But here it is, and I've got my bookmark in there so you can see that I am literally almost done with this book, and I just haven't finished it. I have no excuses. So I just thought you guys wanted to know that I found it. Okay, so for the next question, which I think we're on number 4, I think. The fourth question is, what are 3 books that you want to read before the end of the year? And I was thinking about it. I was like, 3 books. What do I want to read? And then I was like, I have way more than 3 books that I want to read by the end of the year. So I had to pick and choose, but I figured some out. If you guys aren't aware, Goodreads comes out with a best books of the year every year towards the end of this time around November, and they just released all the nominees for it and each genre basically for the best books that came out in the year 2019. And I was going through that list and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many books on here that are really good and I haven't read them yet. And so I was like, oh my gosh, is it possible that I could read all these nominations and be able to make a concise vote for them all? But I don't know if it's going to happen, but I want to try. So in reference to that, I know that under the fantasy, King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo got nominated, and I was like, oh, I'm going to vote for that one. But then I saw that The Wicked King by Holly Black was on there, and I was like, oh, I'm going to vote for that one. But then there was a bunch of other ones that I was like, I want to vote for all of them, but I haven't read them all. So, how can I make a for sure vote if I don't know how good the other ones are because I haven't read them? So, long story short, I was trying to think, is there 3 books on those lists that I really want to read this year? And, I mean, I don't know. But I need to read those, and right now they have all the nominees down because today is November 11th, and then tomorrow, November 12th, they're going to be announcing the semifinalists. So I can't even see who's all on it anymore, so I can't even tell you. But that was a long story. Anyways, but one of the books that I ended up just getting that I do really want to read because I've wanted it for a while, but I could never find it in hardcover, and then I finally found it in hardcover on Book Outlet, so I bought it right away, and that is Heretics Anonymous. I have wanted to read this book forever. When I first heard of it, I heard it's hilarious, and I love books that can make me laugh during them, so that was my main reason for getting this. But if you guys haven't heard of this is about a boy who is actually an atheist, and he ends up going to a Catholic boarding school, I believe. And yeah, right there, it's like, oh no, what is going to go on? There's going to be some issues. But I heard that this is just super funny, and I feel like I could read this in a day. So I do want to read this before the end of the year. I think that if I am just lazy one day, I could really get this done with. So this is probably one of the books that I will be planning on reading before the end of the year, unless I do tackle that Goodreads list, which I really want to because there are some incredible books on that list that I just haven't been able to get to yet, and I really want to. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do. The next book that I do want to get to before the end of the year in regards to this question is Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. I do really want to tackle this one. It's been on my TBR for quite some time, and I've been wanting to get my hands on this book, but I just never bought it. I was like, oh, I'll just hold off. But it was finally on Book Outlet again, and so I bought it right away, and it's in great condition. So seriously, I love Book Outlet so much because I get such affordable books on there, and I don't have to spend $20 on each book, and I think I got this one for like $5, which is incredible. But anyways, if you guys haven't heard of this book, it is about a girl, a prince, and a monster, and how their lives intertwine in this. I think it's a setting that's in the past, but I think that there's star-crossed romance in this. There's the play between sinners and saints, so I think that this one's going to sound really good. I honestly don't know a whole lot about it, but I really am excited to go into it. I think this cover alone is just gorgeous. I mean, can you see it reflecting? Oh, it's beautiful, and I think that's really why it captured my attention. The only thing is that this cover is super papery, and I'm really scared it's gonna rip. But I don't know. I've heard a lot of great things about this one, and I don't know if I really want to know much more than I do right now, just so I can go into it with an open mind and see what the plot and the characters do for me. So yeah, this is the second book in this question that I really want to get to. Alright, so I've mentioned this book now. This is going to be the 3rd time I have mentioned this book in one of my videos because I still haven't got to it, but it is on my list, and this damn book will be read before the end of the year because I cannot keep mentioning it, and that is The Beautiful by Renée Ahdieh. I just don't know why I still haven't picked this up. It's mostly because I've been balancing reading the Arc of the Scythe series, which I still haven't finished, and I know The Toll just came out, and I haven't read that one. Also, side note, The Toll is on the Goodreads nominations for the best books of the year under YA, or it's either under YA or YA Fantasy, and when they released that list, it was on November 5th, and The Toll came out November 5th, and I was like, guys, we haven't even read that yet, and you're telling us to vote on it, and it just came out that very day. I thought it was crazy. But anyways, I haven't gotten to this book because I've been reading that series, and I've also just started reading the Bargainer series, which is a play off of A Court of Mist and Fury, and I'm on the third book right now. It's like an easy smut read for me that I just wanted to like enjoy while I was, on my way to school or whatever, and it's alright. It's alright. It's not A Court of Mist and Fury, though. I mean, it basically is, like, a lot of stuff is being compared to that, but it's not nearly as good at all. But anyways, I want to read this book, and I need to just stop talking about it and just actually do it. So, I don't know. You guys are probably getting sick and tired of seeing this book, but this is on the TBR, and it's probably going to get read very, very, very soon. Alright, the fifth question is there a book that could still shock you and become your favorite book by the end of this year? And honestly, at this point, I don't think that there's going to be a book that is going to really become my favorite book. I read the book that became my favorite book is actually one that released this year and is on the Goodreads nomination list, which I voted for that one right away. And it was Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And that one easily became, like, my favorite book of all time. It was such a good read. Okay, so the final question in the end of the year book tag is, are you already making reading plans for the year 2020? And yes, I am already making plans for 2020. There are a lot of releases that are going to be coming out that I am very excited for, but specifically, I'm really excited for Sarah J. Maas to come out with a new book. She's coming out with one called Crescent City, which is not in the realm of A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is very sad. I don't think we know at all yet when the next novella in that series is coming out, but I think Crescent City is going to be really good. I think it's an adult-focused book, and Sarah J. Maas is just one of my favorite authors, so I think it's going to be really, really great. And in reference, I know I keep talking about the Goodreads nominations thing, but I think that this year is the first year that Sarah J. Maas hasn't had a book nominated for the best books of 2019, or best books of the year, I guess, for Goodreads since, like, the year 2013. Which, if you think about that, that's insane. She's had a book on that list for, like, 6 years in a row, and now this year she doesn't, because she didn't come out with one this year. But anyways, she's coming out with Crescent City next year, and that one will probably end up on that list. But I'm really excited for that one. And then, I plan on reading definitely more than I did this year. So far I've done pretty well. I think I'm at like 65 books that I've read this year, which is way under the goal that I planned on reading. I know, like, my reading challenge with Goodreads was 100 books this year. So, I could still do it, but at this point I don't think I will hit 100 books. I think that would be really difficult, especially since I do have finals coming up. But my reading plans next year, I kind of want to get into more horror, but I also really want to get into more historical fiction. I think that is something that I really want to try for in the year 2020, especially looking back now that we're in the new decade. I think it'll be kind of fitting for that year anyways if I read more historical fiction. And I still haven't read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, so that's probably a book that I'll start out reading by conquering more historical fiction, because that does take place during World War II. So that's all for this video. Those are the 6 questions under the end of the year book tag, and make sure you guys do check out Ariel Bissett's if you guys haven't already. But other than that, you guys, of course, can check me out on my social media if you guys would like. I will have that link down below for you guys to check out, of course. But other than that, I will see you guys next time. Bye!